Oh, this is D Crab once again with a video on how to make some inexpensive wargaming terrain. I've been spending some time lately looking at the MDF offerings that some people have, the laser cut stuff. Really sharp looking, really nice looking terrain, but it comes with a price tag, and I'm on a tighter budget than some gamers. So what I've come up with on a recent trip to Hobby Lobby, and I love that store, I found these items, and I'm going to try and make this into some suitable substitutes for a piece of wargaming terrain, or pieces of wargaming terrain. What I've got here, these are those shadow boxes you hang on the wall. You can see where they had some screws and some brackets attached. I've already removed those. And what's really nice is you take a look at the price. Take a look at that. This is a $14 item I got for $2.80. Now, it goes on the wall like that, and you put stuff in there, knickknacks, whatever. But I turned it like this and said, hey, that could be that MDF terrain. Now I found these little boxes, these wooden boxes, maybe for jewelry, storage items, things like that. Same thing. Take the top off, flip it over, and you've got a nice piece of what looks like could be a building. And then there also, if you take a look at this set I got right here, these were all in the 80% off bin. Turn that over, turn it over respectively. You got a nice three-story tower there. So what I'm going to do is build my own stairs, add some windows and doors to these, paint them up, and get a feel for what they look like. Now what's nice, and again, I don't have anything against those folks that make the laser burnt terrain, laser cut terrain, but the price here, take a look, that's $2.80 for that building. This building is probably, look at that, $3.20. So 80% off bin at Hobby Lobby, and all those total probably came to the price of one of those buildings. Now I've got some MDF from basing. My other terrain projects I'm going to cut and make into stairs, and do some work for doors and windows and ladders and some walkways, and we'll do some videos in between about how, the work in progress kind of stuff. So we'll see you here once I get some work done. Okay, quickly, I'm back for just a second. I want to give you a little bit of a size reference on these things. That's an inch. This is a ruler marked out in inches, and you can see roughly, the size reference. We're looking at about 7 inches for that building, 8 to 10. So different sizes should be a good representation, good sizes. Now, last night I drew up some plans of what I need to do for the stairs and the doors. Measured these distances and figured out how high I wanted the parapets to go. Like, these are already built in. You can see there's a space here. It's about 3/4 of an inch right up there. Provides some cover for some figures, and that's on all of these type boxes. You turn them over like this lid right here, and you just glue the lid right on. And you can see I've already torn the paper applique off of there, so that'll provide a nice surface. And then these, there's nothing to tear off, and I'm going to have to add a parapet to these here, bring it up about 3/4 inch, so there's some cover for the guys on top of the roof. So that's what these plans are doing. I've got the stairs planned out. Here's the sizes I need down here for the parapet and how many. And then I've got my MDF over here. This is stuff I have from various projects I've been working on. I teach at a high school, and they do prom floats every year, and some of this stuff comes from there. Some billboards and things like that, bulletin boards. I'll lay the tape measure down, you get a feel for that. See, that's a good size. There's 1 foot, 2 foot, 3, a little over 3 feet long, and I got several of those. I should be able to get a lot of those stairs and steps and things like that out of those pieces right there, and they're already the straight edge, so I don't have to worry about keeping that straight on that one side. So we'll start cutting or measuring and cutting, and then I'll show you what things look like after that. Okay, I've made my first measurements. These are going to be the landings of the top of the stairs for each of the buildings. I've got 6 buildings, 6 landings. Made them 2 inches by 2 1/4. The reason why 2 1/4 is so to overlap onto the roof of the building, so I don't have a gap between the building and the stairs. The stairs will be modular, they won't be glued to the side of the building, but that'll be large enough for a large base figure to sit in there, Warhammer type figure, or several smaller figures. Now the MDF I'm using here is a little bit thicker than the stuff you would get in those laser cut buildings. And I'm going to use this little saw that I got from my father-in-law and use it to cut the MDF. You could probably use a jigsaw. You're going to get a rougher cut unless you really use some fine saw blades. And I have less control with a jigsaw, so I'm going to try and use this set saw here. So we'll see what that looks like here in a minute. Okay, here's some of my initial cuts. You can see they're kind of rough. This would be, if you're going for the precision look of an Infinity, you might not want to do this, but an Orky village or a rudimentary settlement somewhere on a newly settled planet, these will all be sanded down. I ended up going with the jigsaw. This saw is better for fine cutting. I had too big of pieces of MDF. When I get down to the fine cutting, I'm going to use the other saw, the table saw, but the jigsaw is for the big pieces. So we'll sand these down, fit them up, and see what they look like. Okay, one of the first things I'm going to do is prepare the box lid, because I'm going to be flipping it over on its top so that I get that nice parapet kind of thing at the top. I measured the thickness of the walls of the bottom box. They're 1/4 inch. So I measured 1/4 inch, and I'm going to take some of these straight sticks here and glue them inside of those purple lines. And that should give me a nice fit that will hold the lid on the box, keep it from sliding off. Okay, we'll give that a try here. Hang on. Okay, now you can see I've prepared the top. I cut a slot there, that's where the stairs will meet up, and the parapet at the top. I went ahead and glued some pieces. The thickness was 1/4 inch on the bottom wall, so this is just a little over 1/4 inch. And you can see how I glued those pieces in there. That'll keep the box top from sliding off. Make it easy to remove, and you just flip it over, put everything inside. You can store it inside itself. But I cut that, and that's where the piece from the stairs will overlap and help hold it towards the building. Okay. So we'll go ahead and start gluing. Here's the outside wall of the stairs, the back wall of the stairs, and that's the landing at the top of the stairs. So we'll get that all glued together and take a look at it then. See you then. Okay, there we go. Here's the first product. You can see the stairs. I decided to base this one. It seemed a little more stable. I'm only going to base the bottoms, the first floor, if you will. You can see the stairs came out pretty well. Looks a lot like the Plymouth train. I mean, obviously not as fancy, not as scribed and laser cut, but got some work to do. Put some windows, doors, and I've made it so that the lid comes off. So if you wanted to, you could put figures inside. And then we will patch up some of these holes and go from there. Got a pretty good idea of what that's looking like there. First assembly. Okay, we're going to start work on some others and get to some base painting, filling in holes, and adding some details. Okay, for this next part of the video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this box. You see I've been working on. I glued the pieces in to hold it over. You can see it sits right there. It'll be a nice building. What I'm going to do is I need to have a door and some windows. So I'm going to take this nice piece of really hard cards that I got from Charter Cable. They sent me really nice. I'm going to cut some frames out of that using an X-Acto knife. Be careful with sharp implements. Always ask your parents if you need to, if you're not old enough to do it on your own. And I'm going to make some door frames, some window frames, glue those onto the box in the appropriate places and see what we come up with. I was able to glue some stairs on. Here's actually the one I'm probably going to be working on right here. Here's the box. I decided to glue this one to a frame, or excuse me, to a base. You see there's the stairs on the side. This is, see some covering up some of the cracks with some pieces there, but I think it turns out pretty nice, and I'll show you what it looks like here. I'll get a figure. Where'd he go? There he is. There. Get a figure and see what that looks like. Up the steps. So, well, next one we should see some frames for windows and doors. Okay, here we go. We can see just made some raised bases. I grooved the pattern there for the doors in, so I painted. I'll have a little groove that I can paint black to separate the doors out. I'm just gonna see the windows, a little caulking around the bottom to fill in the gaps. The side view here, and the back. I scored that around there. I probably should have cut that to make a door, a back door. I just scored the MDF with the X-Acto knife and a screwdriver, and I'll just paint a door on there. So you can see everything here looks good. The figure sits right there. And open it up and inside. So, okay, time to move on to the next one. So you can always started the little one right there, scored in the door. It's gonna make some windows, and see you in the next one. Okay, here we are. Finished product. Well, actually, before painting, you take a look and see that all the buildings are now finished as far as construction. We're going to paint them, and you can see the modular nature of these things. These are the different boxes. You can see the lids come off, and they're right back on there. Now, if you wanted to, you can see this 3-story structure over here. Put ladders going up, and this one's got a ladder going all the way to the top, so this guy can jump right up there. Or if I want to, I can take this piece off here, bring it over here and put it right there, or turn it so it can be used on both those. I got 3 2-story buildings. Each building can be taken off and be a bunch of 1-story buildings. So now I've got potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 structures. Now the stairs are a little bit hard to do. You can see when I got this one there, I figured I want to mount that to a base so the stairs are permanently affixed. This one over here, the stairs are not permanently affixed. I can pull those out of there, and I want to have some kind of industrial kind of effect with the doors here. The bigger buildings, maybe like a garage or a mechanic shop, something like that. These are more of office building, residential. Okay, and all the doors, you notice right here, they're carved in. Right there and right there. I just used simple Games Workshop door. I think that's to a Rhino, and basically drew the line on the door, and then took an X-Acto knife and traced it very carefully, etched it, and then took a small screwdriver and stuck that down into that little wedge created by the X-Acto knife, and just wiggled it a little bit to widen it and make a little gap there. So when that paints up, I should be able to denote some kind of door. You can see the different windows made out of card here and here. Stairs, or excuse me, ladders for the upper levels, and a couple of buildings. So the bigger buildings over here, I want to give more of an effect rather than the flatter card for the windows. I went ahead and did some wood. Those are hobby sticks. You can get them at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. And on the side, I got windows. Now what I'm going to do with the windows is paint inside here either a steel grate kind of pattern to make it look like it's closed in with the armor plated window cover, or maybe just paint it black, make it look like a window. So we got those. Next step is to paint them up. Okay, see the effects we got going on here. The ladders on all of them. The ladders are much easier to do than the steps. You don't have to cut them and measure them and make sure that everything lines up perfect, which is harder to do without the precision. I don't have precision tools. I've got all hand tools, but I'd recommend on these smaller buildings is a very simple measurement. You know, the guy going from here, or let's say from here up to the next level. He's at the base of the ladder, 3 inches up. He's at the next level. Okay, and free to move around. Yeah, neat. So that's what we got. I'm going to start painting them up, and we'll see what they look like. I'll show you the first one. Okay. See you next time. Okay, D Crab here. I'm currently painting up my MDF buildings, and I thought some people are asking about how to make a concrete effect, how to make paint look like concrete. So I'm going to try and show that here. I've got the camera in my left hand, and I'm going to be using the paintbrush in the right. But I'll show you the effect that I'm going for. You can see it right here. Instead of getting brush strokes, you want to get it that look. This is just the first coat. I'll show you an example of a second coat, what that looks like. It gives a more concrete effect. You start by painting the object in a dark color. Then you've got a lighter color that looks like concrete or something you're trying to take. I'm looking at an adobe kind of concrete look. This is going to be a kind of sandy concrete building. Okay, now I got paint on there. You just slap that on there a decent amount, and you just start tapping the brush. Make sure you go straight up and down on it. If you go drag it, you're going to leave streaks, you see, like that. So you want to just tap it straight into it, just like that. You keep doing that, and it gives you a nice effect of a rough surface without having to put any texturizing in. You're texturizing the paint. Essentially, you're texturing the paint. And you can see the difference right there, what it looks like stripy, or with the streaks from the paintbrush, and you just go like that. So there you see it. And what I'll do is I'll apply a second coat over the piece, and I'll show you what that looks like. But I'm going to finish this one up, and then I'll show you one that I've already completed. Okay, we'll be back in just a minute. Okay, we're back with the second coat's been applied to this building. You can see how it gives it that kind of rough effect. It's actually just smooth. It's just texture in the paint application. Gives it a concrete look or feel. Obviously you can see I got some touching up to do, but I really wanted to give you an idea of what that concrete looks like with this video, with these sections of videos. I'll have the whole series. You want to see what these buildings all look like in the end. Oh, in case you want to know what brush I use for that, it's just cheap Home Depot brush. You can tell this thing has been used and abused. Look at that tip. But I think they're like 10 for $5, something like that at Home Depot. Or it's not Home Depot, Hobby Lobby. Sorry, it just came from Home Depot. So get yourself some of these. These are perfect for stippling large projects, slapping on a lot of paint, and then texturing it the way you want. Okay, if you like this idea or tip, let me know in the comments. Thanks. Okay, Wargamers, here we are with the finished product. It's been a while. These have been finished for a long time, but I just never got around to making the video. Here's all the buildings. You can see them laid out in the single story configuration. Got on top, see what's behind there, you see a Dread Knight from the Grey Knights, Mordian, and Imperial Guardsmen. If you're into, I use these as Grey Knights. These guys, I thought they looked really cool. I use those as Force Hammers, Terminators. And in the back you got your Imperial Knight Titan. So anyway, that's what they look like. Let me zoom in here a little bit closer. Let's see, here's the door, turned out pretty well. paint these up a lot better. I'm not the world's best painter. I'm fairly creative when it comes to building things. My painting skills are lacking, but you get the idea, and it works really well. And so you can see those, and check this out. I just pulled these out of storage, and what you do is you just take these things off. Start with this big box here. Take the lid off the little box. Or the medium box. Put the medium box inside the big box. Oops, yeah. The little box. The little box inside there. It's over. Here, and put the lid on there, and you got all three boxes in one. Works out really well. Okay. So give me a comment, let me know what you think about these terrain pieces, see if there's something you'd be interested in finding more about or doing yourself. Be more than happy to give you any tips. Just leave comments in below. Thank you very much. This is D Crab signing out.